Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I am Dave.
I'm Ron.
And this is episode 52. Are we playing with a full deck?
I haven't played with a full deck in years, Gardner.
You remember the game 52 Pickup? Did you ever play 52 Pickup?
I was thinking of that when you said this was going to be 52.
Yeah, I remember that. We used to play a lot of cards as a kid back in the 70s. And I remember we were playing this one time. And he says, I think it was my stepfather. Says, hey, you want to play this great new game called 52 Pickup? And he had a pickup truck. So I'm thinking, it's got something to do with the pickup truck. This would be great. Sure. He goes, are you ready? Cards went everywhere. I was like,
my oldest sister did that to my middle sister once. And a few words were exchanged, and the way that 8 and 9-year-olds try to swear at each other was great. It was absolutely funny.
Yeah, so we've all played that game there. Anyway, speaking about games, today we're going to talk about how do you get out of a gaming funk? Because I'm in a gaming funk right now, and it's been a while since I've been in one, but I am in a gaming funk. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and a few other things here on the Digital to Dice podcast, episode 52. Ways to get a hold of us. DigitalToDice.com is our website. That's where we park all of our shows over on Spreaker. Facebook group is growing, Ron, right?
We're over 400.
Wow. Yep, Facebook.com/groups/digital to dice is where you can find our Facebook group.
Gardner will personally, send coupons for pineapple pizza that I will not.
A lot of pineapple pizza talk on there. That's too funny.
That's way too much.
And if you'd like to send us a text, we have a text line actually, 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423 if you'd like to send us a text to say hi. All righty, so
we're not going to talk about what we played because you haven't played anything.
I played a few things here. Actually,
you played some Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
no, well, I played a little bit more of the Action PC Hockey 2020 edition, so I've been chipping away at that a little bit. But yeah, I mostly have I've been playing some Ghost Recon. I got the it came out last year, but it's the new one.
And Becky, by the way, is on vacation, so there's no joke.
We might bring that in when we get to the main topic, but we'll see. Yeah. No, I just been finding myself what happened is you guys know that I was supposed to start my my league up in July, and they pulled the plug last minute, and it got me wondering if I have to move. So I ended up, because I'm sitting home, I ended up cleaning the entire house, going through everything, throwing out files and old clothes, and I really purged the crap out of this house. And when I did that, I opened up a lot of closet space, and all the games that I got, the Strat games and the History Maker Golf and all those games that I had in boxes that were sitting out down here, they all went into a closet nice and neat. So everything looks nice and behind me. You wouldn't notice it if you don't see it on the video, but for most everything has been put away in a closet, nice and neat down here. But since I've done that, I haven't pulled anything out to play. And so I found myself sitting on the couch watching the NHL playoffs, which is really kind of cool, by the way, having playoffs at noontime. That is kind of neat, actually. And then just sitting there, and I ended up picking up the Ghost Recon game, which came out last year and on the PlayStation, and I just wanted to shoot something. I was in a shooting mood. I wanted to just shoot some things on the TV screen, and that's what I did. And I just been finding myself sitting on the couch with my decaf coffee playing that. I streamed it the other day a little bit just to kind of show everybody what it was. And it's just a military shooter game, and I have it on arcade mode, so it's real easy, and I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying flying helicopters and driving around and sniping people and the whole bit, but I haven't pulled out any of my sports games to play. And so I'm in that funk, and I was talking to Ron about that. I said, let's talk a little bit about gaming funks and why I got to this point and what prevented me from playing. So the only thing I really did play, was a little bit of that PlayStation game.
Oh, my turn? Let's see. I did the all-time great PGA Championship. Harding Park, by the way, is a wonderful course. Really enjoyed that. Also, although there's only 2 par 5s.
And that was ASG Golf, right?
Yeah, ASG Golf. There's all sorts. I'm sure there's a version of it for Action PC as well. All sorts of scoring opportunities. My winner, old Tom Morris, shot 22 under, which was pretty high.
22 under, wow.
22 under. In fact, he had on one of the holes on the backside on Sunday, he was in a bunker, put his tee shot in a bunker on a par 4, but it was a short hole, so he only had 83 yards to go for a second, and you hold it.
Wow.
Eagle too. When you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah.
That was fun. And the 78 baseball replay is now moved into September.
Okay.
And so that is coming to an end. And now that pretty much the golf is done, I can start working on how I'm going to do the Olympic stuff and all that. But that's the primary thing. Oh, and I'm also going to pick up Microsoft Flight Simulator on Friday, I think, and fly around in the most advanced flight sim ever made. In fact, you can technically, I guess you can see your own house.
Wow.
The data is all there. So I'm kind of curious if my building is there. So we'll be showing some of that stuff. The YouTube is just full of flight sim videos because I've been watching some. So that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've been using YouTube a lot too because this game that I've been playing, the shooter game, it is so deep, much deeper than the last one they had a few years ago, to a point where I'm in the menus and I'm kind of lost. And so I was watching people like just play, and I was watching what they were doing in the menu. Oh, that's what that is for? Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, wow, that's kind of neat. So I got 20 or 25 hours into this game, and I'm still figuring out the menu. It's just there's so much to do between upgrading your gun and changing parts and giving yourself perks. It's just there's a lot going on.
I should also say, because this is an audio program and not a video program, that the wife put up the bigger brother of the ABC Sports banner. And so we had to prime the wall to put up something this heavy.
It looks heavy. Yeah, it looks really heavy behind you.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to mess with that. And so today I said, well, just put up the banner. And I got yelled at.
You know what?
She's not feeling well. And so I come in here and I turn to park, and the thing takes a full wall.
Almost the whole wall, yeah.
Almost the whole wall. So it's covered my window. It's above my air conditioning hose, but it's got to be 4 feet by 7 feet, you think?
Yeah, maybe 4 by 8. It's pretty big.
Yeah, and so I figured, and my wife, of course, who loves sports like I love brie cheese, and I'm saying, okay, so the infamous ABC Sports banner is an indoor banner. It's not very thick, college basketball, Pro Bowlers Tour, whatever. But this CBS Sports one is thick yellow vinyl. And so I don't know what year it's from, because they use the font for 35 years. But clearly this sat out at a PGA Tour event or a college football game or an NFL game, because it is huge.
Yeah, it's a big boy. So check out Ron's channel on Twitch or on YouTube there, and you'll see that the big banner.
I think the game I did today is the first one that's going to have the CBS Sports banner in it. So
okay, fantastic. That looks nice back there.
Yes.
So, all right, cool. So let's get into our main topic, shall we?
Sure. And Becky, you're not supposed to use your American Express card for that.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Don't leave home without it.
Yeah.
And since Aunt Becky's on vacation, she couldn't leave home without it.
So I'm in a funk. I'm in just a sports funk in general, because I remember that I went on to eBay and I picked up an old basketball game for the Sega Genesis that looked pretty cool. It was like $5, and I picked that up and I was like all excited. And then me and my buddy went out Friday. Friday. He took Friday off, and we went down to South Shore, Massachusetts, and we hit 2 or 3 retro gaming stores, and I picked up some older sports games and a couple of oddball stuff, and I was all excited, and I come home and it's just still sitting in the bag. I never broke it out. And I looked upstairs in Studio C, where I was doing a lot of my videos up there, and I looked, and the wife has reclaimed Studio C to be a dining room again.
Imagine that. She wants to use it for something.
Yeah, I went in there and said, well, what are you doing? She's like, well, you haven't played in so long. I'm going to take my dining room back. So, I mean, all she did is she just took off the cloth I was using for the table and just moved my my dice tray off to the side. So it's no big deal, but it's just... So I guess that's where I am right now. So all my games are in the closet now, out of sight, out of mind. So I can't just grab it and go now, because I gotta actually open the closet door. I know it sounds silly, but it's just another barrier to play. It's when you put stuff away, it just feels like it's a barrier to go pull it out and play again. And then I'd have to go, and I suppose I could play on the the tablecloth that she's got, but it's so much better to play on the black felt that I put down.
Yeah,
it's
I've got all these baseball cards that are behind the camera that you can't see in binders, so I could take the time and look at them and read the back or whatever the cards. I don't touch them. It's one I can't reach them. And so, like, honey, grab the album, and like, why do you want to look at the? And so, no, I certainly get where that is, but I think one of the things with adult gaming, and this is, we're not talking anything, tawdry here, but just adult gaming, is that it takes longer to set up, and you're not a project guy, you are a one-off guy. It's easier, I suppose, if you have a project going, okay, haven't done this in a couple of weeks, really miss playing my 74 Bruins replay or whatever, and so let's pull them up. The next game's against Montreal. Okay, there's a good one to go back to. But you're a one-off guy, and you weren't really working on anything before you were cleaning up. And so when you don't, it takes time to set this up. Takes time to set up any game, whether it's History Maker Golf or Stratomatic or anything that is actually cards and dice. And so you just, I don't know what I want to do. I've got all this stuff, but I really don't know what I want to do with it. And so it just kind of goes and goes. One day turns into a week, and then a week turns into a month. And, I think everybody goes through it, especially if you would finish your replay. Okay, I just did 100 games of Stratomatic hockey. I am tired of rolling if I'm going to penetrate or not, or the season didn't end the way I want it. The game's just going to sit in the closet. And then maybe the new pre-order stuff, because Stratomatic has a pre-order right now for their new season. Okay, well, maybe 87, 88 grabs you, or you're seeing the cards like, maybe can I win the Stanley Cup with the Bruins, because obviously the playoffs will still be going on when the cards and the computer game gets released. And so, that will come there. Or maybe you'll watch a video, the British guy who does the great hockey history videos, or maybe you want to do something for Dale Howardchuck, who died today.
Right. Yeah.
57. My goodness.
Yeah.
Something like that just kind of scratches the itch. Okay, I want to pull that out. I want to play a Winnipeg Jets game. That's the sort of thing. But if you're kind of hemming and hawing, and it's like going to McDonald's and going, yeah, I guess, quarter pounder, fries and a Coke. You're not really excited about it.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's where we all go through it. We absolutely.
I think you made a good point about calling it adult gaming, because it is one of those things where, because I've been unemployed for so long, that I do have the time to play, and I played a ton of games, and and I met a lot of great people along this last 6 months of playing all these games, and I just think that when I went to cleaning mode, I just got out of gaming mode. And then when I got out of cleaning mode, I went into something else mode. And then I had my surgery going on there, and that slowed me.
You've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's not like you've been just sitting at home and clipping your toenails or anything like that. You've had a lot going on in your life. And these games require, unless you pull out a Shavini game, and even the Roberto Shavini stuff isn't always a quick play. These takes time to set up and concentration. And look, there's finally live sports back. You can find something to watch. I know you're not a baseball fan or a basketball fan, but there's actually something.
Yeah, there's something on it. Well, with the NHL play, like I say, they start at noon around here sometimes, and there was always hockey on. And I think a lot of it too. And we talked about the heat. It's been in the 90s for almost 2 or 3 straight weeks here. So I found that, like, after I get done doing my cleaning projects, I was just so hot and sweaty. I didn't want to do anything. I'd take a shower and plop in front of the TV. And so
it requires brain power, even if it's a game that when you like. I mean, you talk about History Maker Golf, because for you, that's what I know you really like. But if you want to do the Colonel Sanders tournament with one of your sets, do you really want to sit and do 2 hours of prep work just to play for 5 hours? Now, The good thing about it is that you can stop whenever you want.
Right. Yeah.
But do you really want to sit there and go? I mean, that's I'll talk about with some of the Roberto Shavini stuff, not the Olympic things. I'm waiting for someone's doing the 2012. There's a co-op of people on Roberto's Facebook group doing the 2012 games, and I don't want to step on that either. And I also did the golf tournament, and it takes a long time to prep to do a golf broadcast. I did not realize just how long that is. It's not only 2 hours to play it, but it's a half hour to have the game play to the point where I can pick it up and throw slides together for a presentation. And then there's read what you can about, so you have something to talk about the leaders that are you think are on the course, and then something else happens, and then you're kind of scrambling. That's not a complaint, but just that sort of thing that you're pulling out History Maker Golf, and okay, you can just pull out Fuzzy and Greg Norman and go out for a round, but I want to do a tournament, and I want to do it right, and so I got to go through 144 cards to get to 12 that I may or may not like, and in order to do that, it's one roll per card, or that, and you're just not there. Or
I think, like I said,
you're not the huge hockey. I know that you're doing better with Hockey Blast, but it's like, have I really got to sit and count triangles again?
Well, I think what it comes down to is just things change during your day-to-day routine, and back when it was cold in the spring and you really wasn't going outside and, it was raining, I couldn't walk the dog. I had a lot of downtime in here with nothing to do. And so I was able to learn a ton of games and play a ton of games, and it was great. And now, like I said, now that it comes into summer, cutting the grass a little bit more, walking the dog, doing things like that, doing some outside things. Occasionally we would go and meet a friend or something like that. So it's just the time that I had to do all this stuff is not there like it was maybe a month ago. And then factor in, like I say, just all the cleaning I did and all that stuff like that. So I got other projects going on, and now I'm selling a lot of stuff on Facebook. And so I just found it like a lot of my gaming time, because I had nothing but time. I would walk the dog and I would play games all day, and I do videos and I talk about them. And now that time has been filled with some other things. But now that those other projects are kind of done, I'm almost done the cleaning part and the selling part and all this other stuff. Now it's like, okay, I walk the dog and now I got some things to do. I get time to do stuff. And I'm still having problems because I think it's a mental block. Because now I'm thinking I would love to play History Maker Golf, because I love that. Even though it's 4 or 5 hours, that is so much fun.
You loved it. You absolutely loved it.
I did, but it's like, okay, now I got to go and set up the table in the dining room again and to make it Studio C and pull everything out and then pull out the game and set it all up. And I start thinking that in my mind. It's like, I might just sit down and watch some of the hockey game on TV. And that's just kind of how your mind goes. It's like, oh, I should definitely play some Strat today. And I was like, well, then I got to pull it out and set it all up. And it's easier, like when it's out on the table and you just got to put up and play. That was so much easier for me. But now that everything's like put away and everything looks nice, it's hard to bring it out and set it all up again. Because it just, in my mind, it's like, oh, by the time I get done setting up, I'm going to want to go do something else,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not a knock on any of these games at all. It's not a knock, because I love these games. And I keep saying I need to play this again. But I know that I did a big shootout hockey project. I did the entire playoffs in shootout hockey. So I did do a big project there. And then I did a couple of the 5-hour epic golf tournaments with History Maker Golf. So as much as I like to do the one-offs, I think the last couple of things I did were bigger projects.
Yes, for you, those were bigger projects. But you're mostly, you're not ever going to be someone that's going to say, I want to replay Bobby Orr's career, or I want to take 69 or 70, 71 and Strat and play the Bruins, because that's the team that you would all admit should have won the Stanley Cup that year.
Right.
I was like, how do I do that? Or whatever it was when you were 14 years old.
But I think it is too. A lot of times when I would do my one-offs, I would be watching something on TV or on YouTube, and something would kick in, and I would say, I want to go play that Calgary, Edmonton Game 7 again. And I did, and I would go play that, usually with shootout hockey or, something like that. But something would trigger that I'd want to go play that. And lately, I haven't been watching those sports videos. I haven't been watching the Bobby Orr stuff. So I haven't watched any of the, the crazy Larry Bird highlights. like I said, I'm in a different phase right now of doing things. So all the things that would trigger me to get excited about doing something are not there right now.
I haven't played a game of action PC football except for the unboxing video since my 86 replay ended. I'm not a huge football fan to begin with. I know it's one of those things that when the game starts, I enjoy calling it and I enjoy playing it. But as far as, oh my God, I got to play some football. No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't. And I haven't done it. It's all there. It's on the bottom of my taskbar along with all the strat stuff I have in the Action PC. So all I literally have to do is press a button on with the mouse. No, really no interest. The 86 replay left me with a sour note because I had the Cowboys corrupt. And so that turned into a project, and I'm doing Action PC stuff 4 or 5 days a week with the baseball. And like, no. And I know that people are upset that I'm not doing football on my channel, but I don't necessarily play everything for everyone else's enjoyment.
Right.
I play it, you've got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
Or else it's just, that is drudgery. Yeah. I might as well sit there and make widgets on camera.
I think the other thing that happened with me too is that when the summer came and it got hot and it was just really like, oh man, it's just you walk the dog and then you're tired. It was, like I said, I found myself watching movies, and I don't watch a lot of movies because I look at the time and it's like, oh man, an hour and a half. Do I really have an hour and a half to sit here and watch a movie? But I found myself being kind of tired after being hot and like, I really don't want to pull things up and get into a physical rolling dice and stuff, even though that's not hard or strenuous. But I just found myself putting my feet up and watching like all the Jason Bourne movies, and I watched all the Yeah, and I just kicked back and I watched all the Mission Impossible movies, like back to back to back to back over a course of a few days. And it was just, maybe that's just what I needed at that point, was to do that.
I think so.
Because I think the gaming provided a lot of mental relief for me during this time.
Yes.
That was a big thing for me. All this gaming that I did and doing the podcast here and the whole bit, that was huge for my mental health. And I think we even did a show about that, or at least we were talking about doing a show about that.
We did one.
Okay, we did. Okay. And so then it just came to a point now where I think movies is what I needed to do to escape and watch those movies there. Now
these games require thought and especially if you're doing a card and dice, even if you're doing a quick play. Even a shootout, it requires that you record a result. You roll a dice. You have to be involved. The computer can play it for you if you want, in like an Action PC or an OOTP or whatever. But then again, how much input are you really putting into that? And if it's just going to play it for you, and you're not really taking the time to enjoy it, then why bother? That sort of thing. Or here's a good example. I was talking about the Shabini games earlier. I have all these seasons for Daring Racers. But it's like, do I really want to spend an hour trying to get everything together on a spreadsheet so I can play, to actually sit down and enjoy the race? And the answer is no.
Well, not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
It's nothing against the system. It's nothing against Roberto. At some point, I'm going to be bored out of my mind because the weather will mean I can't get outside. And like, okay, we'll now get into a project. But no, it's, I see where you're coming from. Okay. And even when I figured out that I can turn PDFs into Word files, that's native support, by the way, in Microsoft Office. And once you can open up it in a Word file, you can cut and paste it into an Excel file.
Nice.
Without having to format anything or like that. So I like that. But even having that step made for me, like, no, not right now. Not really interested right now. And, I think if it's not your favorite sport, then you're going to be less inclined to want to go back to it. And if it is your favorite sport, I'll talk about the pineapple pizza thing. Okay, you like pineapple pizza, but would you eat it 3 days a week? There are times, like, we got it, and Sharon can't make you anything, and you've done the egg thing 5 days in a row, and we went to Costco, and I got this ginormous pineapple pizza, so I'm going to eat it because someone has to eat it because Ron isn't going to eat it. That's right, I'm not going to eat it. And then you go, oh.
Well, I had the same thing happen when I was doing the video game podcast. When in fact, I was on the Game Hounds the other day, just saying hi to them. Yeah, I was on for about an hour because I'd done that show for, I want to say it was about 10 years now, 10 and a half years I've been with them. And I've taken some time off from the show just because I hadn't been playing video games. I was doing this podcast and the tabletop games.
Right.
But I went through a phase probably like 3 or 4 years ago where before I even was playing these tabletop games that I just wasn't playing any video games. And I would come on to the show and they're like, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "Nothing. I haven't played a thing all week." And here I am I'm a co-host for a video game show. I got nothing to talk about. And I just went through a funk and it was a few months, I remember. A couple of months anyway, that I'm like, I'm not playing anything. There's nothing new coming out that I want to play. Everything old I've played a couple of times. I just don't want to put this in again. I'm in a funk. I'm in a video game funk. Like, what do I want to play? And you fill that time with other things, and then eventually you sit back down with something like I did with this Ghost Recon here. I'm like, oh man, this is what I needed here to chill out and just fly around and on this island and do what I got to do and do my own adventure here. And I really missed that. And I hadn't played a game like that in a few years. And but I have been in that funk before with video games, and now I'm in it with the board games. And it's not a knock on any of the games. It's like it was never a knock against any of the video games, but it's just like, what's it going to take for me to say, damn it, I'm going to play today. I'm going to go in the closet. I'm going to go to my file here. I'm going to pick a game. I'm going to take a couple teams. I'm going to play. And usually when I do that, it's like, why did I wait so long to play this? This is so much fun. I enjoy it so much. But there's this barrier. There's this block between you and playing that game that I'm in right now. And I know once I can get over that hurdle and push that block out of the way, that when I play, it's going to be unbelievable again because I know how much fun they are. But right now, I just can't get there.
I think sometimes this type of gaming can become mechanical. It's either roll, read, report, or how many times can you watch 6, 4, 3? And you get to know it because we all have our favorite games and we've all played them to death. And so when you see something coming, like, oh, here we go again. And so roll, rinse, repeat. Roll, rinse, repeat. How do you get out of it? Well, take the time to get away from it. There's nobody to force you to say, oh, no, you must play Stratomatic hockey 6 days a week. No, there isn't.
My personality is a very addictive personality, and I admit that. And so when I enjoy something, I always use this phrase, I played it to death, and I do. And I did that with the last Ghost Recon game a few years ago. I played it for almost a month straight, and then it got to a point, like, I'm tired of this. And then you put it down and you don't go back to it because you've just played it to death and you've done your time with it and you've enjoyed the heck out of it. But it's just, I need to do something else because I've just done this so long. I've enjoyed it. Again, it's the pineapple pizza thing. I've eaten pineapple pizza for 2 weeks straight. Loved every bite. But now I've had enough of pineapple pizza, and that's kind of
exactly.
That's kind of what I think was happening with the tabletop games. Is I hit it so hard for the last 6 months.
Do it with a restaurant, or do it with Dunkin' Donuts, or do it with whatever you're buying at the store for groceries. Oh, they got the supersized version. No, I had enough of cookie dough ice cream. Thank you very much.
I was playing hours a day of these games, and I was doing a video, if not a day, every other day of a different thing that was happening, or a recap of a thing that would happen, or a stream or something, or a commentary. I was hit it hard for many months, and I was enjoying the heck out of it. And then all of a sudden, and then like I say, I think I played those last couple of golf tournaments and that one big hockey project, and then I was like, okay.
Well, you got busy.
I did get busy, but I think that the golf thing.
You had your heart procedure done.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a big deal. That's and you finally got the call that you could at least start thinking about going back to work. May not be everything that you've wanted, but at least you're further down the road than where you were when they pulled the plug in late June.
Yeah.
And so your mind is on other things than
and maybe
that.
that's it. Maybe it's because I'm thinking about, the hot recovery, and I'm thinking about going back to work, A, if they're going to allow me, and B, if like my body can physically handle it at this point.
Exactly. And so we do these things to relax. As someone who plays games professionally, there's most days I do my work and I don't game at all the rest of the day, because if I sit there and overindulge, then I'm not going to want to do my work. That's not a complaint of what I do. I choose what I do, and I like what I do, and people seem to like what I do. But if I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm playing a baseball game at noontime, guess what I'm not doing after dinner? Opening up a baseball game and playing it for 4 hours, because then I know tomorrow at noontime, my job is to play a baseball game. And so you don't want to burn yourself out that way. I think we're all, when it comes to games, do get into an addictive thing, especially if there's something new that you haven't played in a while. Oh, yes, got to do this and spend 4 or 5 hours. And then here's a good one. It's a video game, City Skylines, which I tried to play a couple times on my Twitch channel. And, of course, the night that the new download package wouldn't work, which was another story. So one Saturday afternoon, wife's watching TV in the living room. You're off doing something else. And so it's just me, myself, and I. What do I want to do? Let me pull this one out because I can kill a couple hours that way. So I got set up to do it. I did about 10 minutes, and I'm saying to myself, I am so bored. What am I doing this for? And I haven't touched it since. When I get the new flight simulator thing this weekend, I'll fly around a lot the first 2 or 3 weeks, be fun, see what's new, see how much of it I could use. And then a new project will come, and I'm just doing that for me. I'm not doing that for anybody else. And okay, it'll go on the back burner. I'll get frustrated.
Yeah, and I think I did that with Shootout Hockey. When I did that Seals project, I played every game of the Seals. When I get done with that, I played so much Shootout Hockey. I was like, I need to take a break from this.
It's exactly like.
And then when I pulled it out a couple of months later, I was like, oh, man, I miss this game. I love it. But I had just played so much of it that I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something different. And I think the same thing happened with the History Maker Golf. I did 2 or 3 big tournaments, in that week, and they were fantastic, but I had just played so much of that. I was like, man, I want to go do something else right now, because if I play too much of it, then I'll never want to go back to it, And there's been video games I've done that I played so much, I'm like, I don't ever want to play that again.
If you play something too much, then you're going to be able to figure out, every game has a plus. There's a couple that we pulled out that the pluses were hidden. And I'm still not mentioning who they are. But even in the games that you love the most, the minuses become apparent. They become obvious. And it's, yes, everything, including ourselves, have flaws. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as perfection. And certainly don't you sit there and try to tell me that a pineapple pizza is perfection, because it's not. But you know what I mean. Even what you love the most, you're going to find something. I remember, here's a good example. When I used to drink a lot of Coke, okay? And so
you did Coke?
It was the 80s, man. No, when would drink a lot of Coke before I became a diabetic, or what made me a diabetic, I don't know. And so I knew that in that 12-pack or a 6-pack of cans, that one would taste really, really good. Okay? You never knew where it was in the package, but there'd be one that would have that right amount of syrup and that right amount of carbonation, and it better have been in the fridge, because there's nothing like a warm, you've hit it and you're like, oh, it's warm. But then you would nitpick, the other one has too much syrup, or there's not enough carbonation. Or I love drank Coke for years. When I drink Coke now, it's a sugar-free stuff. But one of those, like, I know the faults of the drink. And so where's the enjoyment out of that? It just becomes an addiction at that point. Kind of like what most people do with coffee. I mean, I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but, that sort of thing. And I think it goes back to the gaming. Is 8 always have to be a rebound? Or why can't I ever get a direct rebound shot in action PC hockey? Why do I have to flip the quote-unquote the next action card to cycle around after the goalie's given up the rebound? In the grand scheme of things, it all works. You get the excitement, but in that, God, really? Saving a face-off. Do I take the blue chip off? Do I use it now? Or whatever. I'm tired. I don't care if he's got a blue chip there. And that sort of thing. And we all go through it if we play something too much. And, I guess, you asked me before we started taping, what do I do to get out of that? And I think you just kind of, whatever floats your boat, and just don't be afraid when you see something or you hear someone talking about, that Dave Gardner, I can't believe he scored a hat trick for Cleveland in Montreal. What the hell was Kenny Dryden on that night for that idiot Gardner? Wink, wink. Yeah. To get a hat trick, and you go, well, I can replay that game. I have that season. Yep. And then it kind of starts up. And so, don't ever feel bad that you don't play something. For those of us who have computer files, it's just data. It's just data. You can recover that data. It's not like it's not like the pizza in the fridge. If you don't eat it by Thursday, it's not going to start growing mold and have a conversation with you.
Well, I kiddingly made a joke about because I did pick up the 87-88 season for Stroud on the pre-sale, and I think I got a couple other seasons too. And so I kind of laughed. It's like, well, I have so many seasons here, but I says, kiddingly, I don't know if I said it to you or to somebody else. It says, I'm like putting these seasons away to play when I retire, because I plan on when I'm out of work. I mean, you see how much playing I've done since I've been laid off. Eventually I will have to go back to work. But, when I get to that point where I start working a lot less as I get older, I plan on playing a lot of this stuff. At least that's the plan.
If I never bought another game, which isn't going to happen, and I know isn't going to happen, it would take me at 40. I'm 49 in November, okay? So let's say I've got 20 years left where the brain is going to function and health is going to be there, and I'm going to want to do this. I couldn't even go through the football seasons I have, let alone everything else. And all the other sports. My wife, and the cat could start with some of this stuff, and couldn't even get through that. And you get great projects in your head. Like, I want to play every Red Sox Yankee game ever. Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Yeah. And so and some of it is you want to help the game designer, or you love the game, and you don't want to be sitting there going, I can't believe I watched Dr. J do that. Let me pick up a Dr. J game. And I don't have that season.
Yep. So now you got to get that season. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. So I have all this stuff here, and I knew that I'd be, they don't expire, and as long as I take care of them, I'll be able to play with them forever.
Nice. Yeah. Right. Just don't make sure that, you don't spill Diet Coke on them like I did on Luke Robitaille's card. And,
but I think you hit it on the head. It's just, I don't want to force myself to pull out a game and start rolling it and be like, oh, great, saving a rebound, or up in the rough, or, ground ball double play, and be playing the game just for the sake of playing it. I want to play it to enjoy it. And how I get out of the gaming funk is I didn't do anything. I let it naturally progress. I would go and I would do other things, whether it was, do outside stuff or clean the house or read a book. Whatever took up my gaming time, I would just allow that to happen. And then eventually all that stuff that took up the time would end, and I would end up back playing games. And that's kind of how I'm hoping it's going to go here, is that, the house cleaning thing is done, and the selling thing is almost done, and hopefully I'm going to go back to work, but that's kind of on my mind right now. I'm still healing up from the surgery. All this stuff's happening, but eventually that'll all work itself out, and I think maybe at that point there I'll be done playing this the Ghost Recon game, which I'm enjoying right now, and I'm looking forward to playing that every day, sitting on the couch with a coffee and playing it. And but at some point I'll get tired of that, and I'll put that down, and then that's maybe when I break out the games again.
Yeah, and I don't think any of you out there should ever feel obligated to play just because you bought it and you like it. I mean, obviously, don't play something you don't like. That defeats the whole purpose. This isn't range of motion therapy, for goodness sakes. It's sports gaming.
Yeah, but I think we always feel bad that we have this stuff and it's just sitting there. And during the spring, I would come downstairs and say, "Look at all these cards I got. I'm playing them, damn it!" And I pulled them out and I played a bunch of games. And I was like, "See, now I feel better that I use some of this stuff. It's not just sitting there as a decoration. I actually got some use out of it, and I really enjoyed it." So I think the best thing to do is just let nature take its course. Let me go through the phases I'm going through, but at the same time, it kind of stinks. I'm sitting there looking at people post on the Digital to Dice Facebook page of all their projects and things they're doing, and I'm following along, and I'm liking the posts, and I'm making comments, and it's like I haven't contributed in a couple of weeks or so, and I feel like.
But there's no obligation to do that. I mean, we do shows like this, or you might say, do one on your own. You can do that, can't you? And yes, I can. I mean, there's no obligation for anyone to sit there and go, if I don't play Game 2 of the 1962 NBA Finals, then I'm never playing anything again. Well, okay, I'm sure the Celtics and Lakers would love to have you remember them, but this is not, even for me who does this more on a professional basis than anything else, there's never a case of, if I don't do this, then this doesn't happen. Look, I take unscheduled time off. Life happens. The wife needs me. I have to attend to other matters. That's one of the bad things about working from home is that you kind of have to pace yourself, but there's never a case of, if I don't do X by Y, then Z Z's going to happen. Data doesn't expire on your. Like I said, cards don't get bad. Data doesn't expire, and so I mean, you can find other ways to contribute just by reading, and maybe some project that someone else is doing, going, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to beat up Grump Worsley for a while.
And I bet you, and as this is going to probably happen, it'll just kind of happen out of the blue, where I'm going to pull something out of the closet and I'm going to play it, and it's going to be like a floodgate opening up. It really is.
And you'll get your mojo back, and
it's just like, oh man, did I miss this? And this is great, and I can't wait to play this again. And I'm going to play this next game, and it all comes back. It really will. I know, but just when you're in the funk, It stinks when you're in the funk, and you know that it's going to end, and you know you're going to go back and enjoy it. But so I guess let's put out the question to everybody here: is what do you guys do when you're in a funk? How do you get into the funk, and how do you get out of the funk? How do you get back into doing? How is it that we're not doing something we really enjoy doing? We're just not doing it. At least I'm not right now. And I did it, like I said, with the video game. The same thing. I enjoyed that, and I played all these games to death, and then I just didn't play anything for a long time, and I don't know why, and I didn't want to either. And then when I went back, I couldn't believe how much I missed it, and I think that's how I'll do it here with the.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
So anyway, so how do you guys do it? How do you guys get in one, and how do you guys get out of one? What have you done to maybe avoid it, maybe to shorten the length of time in the funk? Because and I'm open to your suggestions too, because that's just kind of where I am right now. And I know, like Ron said, I had a lot of things going on and a lot of changes going on personally for me. So time was taken up by other things, and but now it's it's time to get back and enjoy the game playing. But just when is that going to happen? So, what do you think? Should we wrap some things up here?
Sure.
All right, here we go. So this was number 52, playing with a full deck here on the Digital to Dice podcast, episode 52. And we talked a little bit about gaming funks, specifically the funk I'm in right now. And so anyway, we'd like your feedback on gaming funks. Anyway, ways to get a hold of us. 978-751-DICE. 978-751-3423 is our text line. DigitalToDice.com is the website where we park all of our podcasts on Spreaker. And Facebook.com/groups/DigitalToDice is where you can join the discussion and share your projects. And how to get out of a funk maybe too, Ron. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
All right. I'm Dave.
I'm Ron.
Catch everybody later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.